and welcome. Welcome to A Better You through prayer and fasting podcast. A better you in this world that needs us all to be the best that we can be. I'm so excited to be here today, and I want to invite everybody, if you're listening, or be sure to share this later to your friends because this is going to be a podcast of possibilities and positivity. So I want to bring in Desiree Valdez and Dr. Adrian Finklestein. Hello, you guys. Hey, Dr.
Hey,
Adrian.
Mercedes.
Hi, Des. We are
Hey.
back. Hey,
I know, it's been
back.
awesome.
And hopefully, maybe now, maybe we could double up our month, and maybe we could come on twice a month instead of once a month. I appreciate it, you guys being patient with me while my life is trying to just get a lot done right now, and I know you all are too. So we've been trying to do one podcast a month just to keep it going, and maybe now we can do two. Who knows? I think it would be great. The world needs this. So with that said, please share with me. Let's see, Dr. Adrian, how are you today? How's it going? Are you doing good?
Well, I feel on the way to recovery, and uh, there are ups and downs here and there, but basically the trend is upward. Thank God, and my total how you say uh, plan seems to have been achieved at least partially. Out of 15 days since I was discharged from the hospital, 10 days, each day I walked for 10,000 miles or longer. And for the rest, I have 5,000, 8,500, I don't know, things like that. But anyway, I'm trying to jump my systems by this energetical effort, which is walking, which is the best medicine according to Hippocrates, as I mentioned in other podcasts. And otherwise, I was coming with an insight today that a lot of our issues are that we're taking too much on our plate, and we're stretching more than we can reach. So I have to practice what I preach. Otherwise, I would be ludicrous, and I don't want to give bad advice to people. You have to do the best you can, and let God do the rest. Because otherwise, if you want to act God, it's not going to work for long. So one of the things is that a lot of functions in the body are regulated by the nature, not by artificial gimmicks. And that's why I make a habit to wake up in the morning early when it's sunlight or daylight, if it's not sun, overcast, but daylight and more oxygen in the air. And then I walk my walk and talk my talk. And there is a cat that accompanies me by the name of Luna. So belongs to the neighbor, and apparently they were shocked that she's still alive because here are a lot of coyotes. But I prayed for the cat to return once. I think I mentioned that for 3 days didn't come home. I said, well, this is a wild cat. Knows what she's doing, and I'm praying for the cat. So the cat came back, and they thanked me so much that I say I'm not sure that it's because of my prayers, but I hope it didn't harm.
Well, I think I remember when that happened, and I did want to share with everyone. Yes, you had a major thing happen in your life, which from the last time we had our show, that in between hear that you had missed, you were in the hospital and prayers were sent out for you. So anybody watching this podcast is going to know. So we're just so thankful that those prayers worked and that your prayers worked and that you're here with us and doing good. And I'm just so thankful for that. And I'm thankful that Luna was able to go for a walk with you today.
Yeah. So I did just realize that we come in a world in which we are supposed to be warriors, and because otherwise we're not gonna make it. And all the living things are all warriors in a sense because there are a lot of hurdles. It's like running the hurdles. And you have to be careful not to knock them down and not to knock yourself down in particular. So by doing so, I guess you have to slow down and live and smell a flower. We have to have full faith in God, obviously, and I was researching a few very good words, and that reminded me my experience with the psychic surgeons in the Philippines, um, where before preparing for a healing, people would all unite, patients and healers, and sing a song in Aramaic. Like I mean, no, in I'm sorry, in Latin, no, Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is very important in prayers for them in that area in the Philippines, and there was a song that went like that. People would become solemn, relaxed, full faith in God Almighty, and then sing and sing. Bhavanam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Bhavanam Kevalam Bhavanam Bhavanam Kevalam Parampita Bhavaki, which translated in English is God gets all the credit in order for victory to be a sure guarantee.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Da, 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 da. I love that.
Yeah, it was a nice song, and
It's
it stayed
beautiful.
with me for years, and
Oh,
doing my healings on my patients and on myself and others. I always comes to me, Babanam, Babanam, Kevalam, Babanam, Babanam, Kevalam, Babanam, Babanam, Kevalam, Parampita, Babaki. If you give God all credit, victory sure guarantee.
I just love you, Dr. Adrian. You are so amazing. I want to share with you. I was finally able to pull up the chat. And oh, look, Archbishop Ron is watching us. And hello, Archbishop Ron. We just mentioned you a minute ago on the about the Unseen Realm podcast every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with our host and leader, Archbishop Ronald Enright. Thank you for being here with us watching. And I hope you got to see Dr. Adrian just sing a beautiful song. I want to also say that we've got somebody really cool that's going to be on our podcast in the very near future, Lejean Stewart. But he's amazing. Desiree knows what I'm talking about. He is actually on the podcast, and it's not. He'll be on in a couple of weeks. I hope it's all set, and he is an amazing actor. And he was in the Pirates of the Caribbean, and
they even named a character after him. That's why I would love for you two, Dr. Adrian, especially kind of like correspond because you're both in the movies. You know, Dr. Adrian's got this amazing he's a movie producer. I mean, if just please go and look up Dr. Adrian right here and we'll put some links out. Desiree, if you could put a link out because he's a spiritual psychiatrist, yes, but he is also, you know, there's so many things about past lives. He's written all these amazing books. He's written books about past lives. And I love the fact that he understands about the psychic surgery, which is something that I've been involved in, and also past lives work. So there's so much to our Dr. Adrian here, and it's such a blessing to have him be here with us once a month on this podcast. So, Dr. Adrian, can you share a little bit about your books and your movies? So we haven't done that in a while. I think it'd be great for people to know about you.
Sure, sure. And first of all, my beginnings obviously have to do with my experience that took me out of this world and changed my life completely. And that was in the Philippines. Usually, I would say, or mostly in the area of Pangasinan, Baguio, and China, North, South Sea, and I I learned things that they didn't teach me in school, in medical school, in my psychiatric training, and the most prestigious psychiatric center in the nation and in the world at the time, Menninger School of Psychiatry. So I I learned something from Jose Mercado, from Alex Orbito, famous psychic surgeons. With Alex Orbito, I had a very extensive experience because he came to my house in Malibu and he demonstrated psychic surgery there. He, by the way, was one of the best friends of Sheila MacLaine as well, a common friend. We were all. And so um, he was transmitting of his all energy to me, to Shirley, that power. So before this experience, um, that I could get with the hands in somebody's body, and I felt like jelly, and I didn't know that it's me. With Jose Mercado, he gave me a container of clear water, and he said, well, pray over it to God Almighty to give you the power. And then all of a sudden I could see that the water is reddening and reddening. It becomes like blood. And it reminded me about the Exodus when there was that, the 10 plagues, and and the one in which the sea became red, like whose blood. And I said, how can I do that? That's probably they transmitted to me the energy or something. Because, but then there was a spirit guide that guided me, and the psychic of Sheila MacLaine, Kevin Ryerson, and his name was Atun Re. He was an Egyptian spirit, 3,300 year old. And he was very funny. Every time he was talking, he said, isn't it fascinating, Adrian? So I guess he was talking about the fact that we were colleagues at that time, and we were doing what is called the death healing. They said, well, you forgot about it? And I said, well, I don't know. I probably did. So he said, well, I'll remind you. So he, you know, in so many ways has showed me that. One way was that there was a general in the Filipino army by the name of Santiago Queiton. And Santiago Queiton was advisor to President Ferdinand Marcos of the Philippines. So he became good friends with me and wrote in my book, A Psychiatrist's Search for God, some nice words about me. Um, so, but he was also a psychic surgeon, not just a general in the army, and he knew to play piano beautifully. So Santiago Queiton taught me something that I will never forget. And he said, Adrian, when you pray to God, you pray only once for one thing. But you don't repeat it because only children have to be repeated. Sometimes repeat class because this is the way they learn through repetition, programming, and motivation. But God doesn't need that. God knows your prayer even before you utter it. So what you should do is thank God over and over again. That's been done. Amen. Amen. How you say amen? So be it. And I have, you know, something here, a prayer of another sort that has to do with Jesus and Mary. And Alex Orbito, that was at my home in Malibu, taught me that this is a secret, but if you feel confident, you can spread it whenever you wish. And it's in Latin. It says, Igunum egesset, egosum egesset, Jesus Maria, egosum ipactum amen. Which means, basically what it means is that I am he who goes out or drives out Jesus, Mary. I am the covenant. Amen or amen. So before any psychic surgery, he would declaim that by heart, in his heart, but he taught me that. So when I came to the States, I had an enormous experience of seeing people getting well. I wasn't supposed to enter with the hands in the body. I would have lost my license as a medical doctor. So, but I could do some prayer and spiritual affirmations and use energetic work with my hands, doing the same thing basically, because the psychic surgeon said, you know, we do that in order to impress people that don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
For
Right.
those who believe, no explanation is necessary. For those who don't, no explanation is possible.
That's right.
So, so I had many successes doing that, strengthened my belief in a faith healer, but that was opposed to what I was taught in the medical school at the highest, most prestigious institutions, where I got even awards, first awards, distinguished awards. So I thought, well, there is a lot to learn in this world, and psychic surgery it comes so close to something like the work of Jesus Christ, you know, because he was doing extraordinary, miraculous things, more than the psychic surgeons that I saw. But it came the closest, I guess. And once I asked them, how comes that you enter with a hand in the body, you remove a tumor, then the person becomes well, you throw the tumor in a pail, and you throw it the garbage. But what is the mechanism? And I remember Jose Mercado, one of the healers, at one time explained to me that what happens is that uh, when you pray before you perform the psychic surgery, you get a colossal energy into your body, and you shouldn't use your own energy as much as possible because you may die young. You should use the divine energy, but that is so powerful that it doesn't cut the tissue. It does something else. It separates the molecules by canceling temporarily the electrostatic force that unites them together. And then it's a gash there, and you can liquefy the tumor with that power by the same manner and bring it in your hands out and then let it snap back through the electromagnetic force, um, and throw it as disposable. So that was the explanation I got. And Shirley MacLaine and others like me. There was a French physician, also a lady doctor, are very nice, and I befriended at the time. In one of the sessions, Santiago Queiton, that was a general in the Filipino army, healed a person, a man, a big, huge man, probably 7 feet tall, from Canada. He came with his wife for healing. And what he did, he asked a few people to stay behind him, and then he blew over his head. This was a skinny, thin man. I mean, the healer. And I wondered how he has that power, but that he blow into the eighth chakra, which is over the seventh chakra.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by doing so, he could then see that the man fell backward, and the other men that were there were supposed to catch him. So they caught him. They laid him onto the ground, and he sent the soul from the crown chakra. He sent his soul to the ancestors and to God Almighty to heal it. That's called the death healing that Atun Re, the Egyptian spirit of Kevin Ryerson, was laughing and saying, "Isn't it fascinating? But you forgot it, Adrian. We did it." So anyway, very empowering in the shaking experiences I went through that really I cannot express in words. Um, so then after the healing of the soul, he would bring the soul back through the crown chakra, the seventh chakra, into the body, and the man came to life from what appeared to be like a sack of sand. So they were extraordinary experiences for me. I took with slow moving camera many films of entering the body and doing these miracles. And when I came here to the United States, I showed them to my colleagues. Some of them, they were Persian Jews, doctors. It says, "Oh, that they were into business," and they say, "Oh God, that these people will take the business from us." So I guess they were concerned about that. But anyway, I know that it's not recognized by the American Medical Association. I'm just saying this has been my experience. Um, and in a follow up of 1 year, I found out that a majority of these people were still well, even the ones that had terminal cancer. But another portion relapsed. So that's been my experience. But it's so fascinating, and it reminded me Atom Racing, laughing and saying, "Isn't it fascinating, Adrian?"
Yeah, I was like, isn't it fascinating? Wow. Well, I mean, that whole story it always is just remarkable to me. And because I have been around this and studied that, when I first heard of you coming into our life on the unseen realm, I'm like, you're kidding me. He actually understands like what I've studied and what I've heard of. I want to also share. I want you to share about um, your Marilyn Monroe uh, work, the work you've done with the books and the movie, and share with that. Share that. I mean, again, that's another fascinating level of your life.
Well, it's timely because the other day was her birthday,
Yes, yesterday was her
100-year old.
birthday.
Yeah. So I remember that in 1998, I got a telephone call from a singer by the name of Sherry Lee Laird that was on the number one in 10, in rating with her song "No Ordinary Love." So, but she had a problem, a recurring nightmares that she has lived as Marilyn Monroe. So, to make a long story short, I traveled to the place where she lived, which was Toronto, in Canada. So it was a way to travel. Anyway, we were in a hotel, and I used many hours of past life regression under hypnosis. Hypnosis being one of my main specialties, which I've been teaching to three universities, UCLA, Chicago Medical School, and Rush Presbyterian Medical Center, uh, Rush University. So anyway, she she said things that are very remarkable, and that she remembered, and she had no way to know certain things, but when I confirmed and her facial recognition through FBI method, it was like 1.1% margin of error, which is fantastic because in order for the probability in statistics to work, it has to be like 5% or something. But with her, it was like 1% something. And there was also a scientist by the name of Paul von Ward that confirmed it too, and we had a way to calculate the FBI facial recognition by knowing the distances between the eyes, the lateral, the medial, the distance of the root of the nose to the hairline, and the other lines that I cannot get into is too complex, but you get you know, the FBI facial recognition that way. Nowadays, you don't have to think about that. They are giving you automatically, the AI does that. So, and she had this very close, it's most high probability that she is the reincarnation of the same person. You find that rarity in something like 100,000 cases that to find such a thing. So it's most probably, I don't call it a definite thing. Psychically, yes, but scientifically, I cannot. I would only be able to say that she's the most probable reincarnation of Marilyn Monroe, the famous one. And I was with her in CNN, NBC, Geraldo Rivera, uh, BBC. I was in all the big networks, and I hypnotized her there in the spot and regressed her as hypnotically to her life as Marilyn Monroe. Um, you can watch these videos when you get a chance, if you do, if you're interested. But anyway, the point is, I had enough as a person to have a feeling that she most probably is the reincarnation of Marilyn Monroe as a scientist. As a person, intuitively, I would say yes, 1,000%.
And uh, there's a lot of details. I mean, right there. I mean, this is like a major investigation, really, with all of those details. And so, talk about the actual book and the movie and the different things that you have been doing. Also, not only with Marilyn, but with our other favorite. My other favorite is um, no,
Jean Harlow.
Jean Harlow, yes. Those are two of my favorite, actresses. I was one of those people that's what I love to find out about. So the fact that you also is about Jean Harlow too is it's amazing. So share that. I love this conversation. Is this great, Desiree?
Well, let me start then with the beginning. Thank you. I uh, I remember being a little kid, a little boy, 5 year old, and I liked women, which was very perverse because at the age five you don't like women. I mean, you you have to pay with toys. But my father liked very much Hollywood scene. We lived in Romania and in Bucharest, the capital. And my father was showing me all sort of pictures of actors from Hollywood, Gary Cooper and Charles Boyer, and I don't know, and obviously Jean Harlow and Myrna Loy, and so forth and so on. And from all of them, especially the females, I was attracted fantastically to one of them, and that was Jean Harlow. And I didn't know why, but I loved her. So at 5 year old. So anyway, um, I eventually grew up and I forgot about it. This society has a way to put you to sleep in terms of this kind of insights and to give you just down to earth the information to live on earth and to enjoy football and basketball and other things that are more down to earth, which is not okay. It's not that it's not okay. It's just that we live here a very physical life, and the spiritual part of it is in every cell of what we do, but we don't look at that. We look at the physical mostly, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's we have to have a holistic view. To yeah, the physical is fine. We need it. It's like Centaurus of the Greek people, where you have, the horse and the head of a person instead of the head of a horse, the centaurus. But we are united. We have the animal part, but we have the spiritual, godly part. So anyway, but to make a long story short, going to Jean Harlow, I did past life regressions on her because she, after 3 years of hesitating to come to me, to say that she feels she's Jean Harlow and Marilyn Monroe modeled her, basically. And I, I went to her place, and I really felt that there were vibes that I couldn't explain in words. But then I decided that when she said that we were husband and wife, I said, "What?" And my name was Paul Byrne, and I said, "What?" I couldn't take it because that man was an impotent man and a man that was hated by a lot of people before he was loved. In other words, he was the the love of Hollywood in the beginning, but after he married Jean Harlow, the PR of Louis Mayer and um, from the Metro Goldwyn Mayer denigrated his name. So I wrote the book Jean Harlow Returns to Clear Her Husband's Name. So in that we had a lot of regressions together, in which we were on the same bed in a hospital, and I mean not in a hospital, in a hotel, and we were talking to each other as Paul Byrne and Jean Harlow, and there was a psychologist that. I'm not sure I want to mention her name, but right now, but is there, Dr. Globe. But so she hypnotized us, both of us, and we were like in real life talking with each other as Jean Harlow and Paul Byrne. And there were a lot of depression, a lot of crying, a lot of nostalgia because we weren't together and we were so happy to be back together. So, and we are still together for the last 16, 17 years. So that's the story of Jean Harlow and Paul Byrne. And Paul Byrne committed suicide, they say, but people that knew, like his friends, they knew that he didn't commit suicide. That was, he had a wife from before from New York, and common law wife, Dorothy Millett, that she once came and had a fight with him at the place where he lived in Beverly Hills, and it ended up because he had guns to defend Jean Harlow. Um, I think that one of the guns was used by Dorothy Millett to threaten herself because she was mentally imbalanced. She was diagnosed as a schizophrenic. So when she wanted to kill herself, and Paul Byrne, being a good man, as they say, I am in this life, wanted to save her, to take the gun from her hand, and it turned on him, and he was killed. So at age 42. So yeah, that's the story of my life. No respect, as they say.
No respect at all, no respect at all. Do
So
you
that's another
miss
story.
do you miss, your time well, you obviously live in Malibu or you live in Hollywood kind of close, but do you miss, being a part of that world? Because you're actually a very still a working psychiatrist at a very prestigious place. And you haven't, do you miss being in that realm like you were in before?
Well, sometimes I find myself, especially when I was younger, in society that I'm the center of attention, that I may dance kazachok or sing songs that, when I had a better voice. So, and things like that. And because I was an actor as Paul Byrne before I became a director, and one of the three moguls of MGM, Irving Thalberg, Louis Mayer, and myself, Paul Byrne. And I came with many ideas that were out of whack, some of them not approved by my partners, but because they were too extreme. But because you see, I'm I'm like that. But anyway, so but many of my thoughts were taken, like in Grand Hotel that got no, Oscar. Grand Hotel was the second movie that got that prize, and I came with ideas. I was organizing the directorship, though. Um, Louis Meyer didn't like me anymore because of the politics, because I have an affair with somebody, or I had an affair with Dorothy Millette, and now I'm married to his moneymaker, Jean Harlow. But I brought Jean Harlow to him. I bought her from from other company, as you know, from the Wings, and she was. I liked her and I did the audition. So, but Louis Meyer didn't like me because of that, and started a campaign together with his two men. I don't want to tell the names, to denigrate my name. That's why the title of the book is Jean Harlow Returns to Clear Her Husband's Name. In other words, it was a lot of fake news, among them that I killed myself, which I didn't.
Right. And does that, I mean, I can understand where this is something that it's like had to be done. You had to get this research out. You met your partner, and it was like meant to be. And I do believe very much, because of what's happened in my life with the spirits here, that I was chosen to tell their story, to figure out what happened, to deduce, and to wait, and just to make sure I kept going until I found out what was happening here on this land. And so to me, it feels exactly the same. You were given the opportunity, except you were actually part of that. And you had to share that news. You had to find the truth out and share it. Because those spirits came back to make sure that they wanted so much so to make sure that they were cleared of a crime, or that they were acknowledged. Right?
Right, right. It's amazing, and it's the will of God, and it's in the master plan of God that these stories like mine, which is or yours, they are isolated stories, but I'm sure that they are all over. Only people are not aware of them. So, because not everyone is tuned into the past lives, it usually takes many lifetimes to get that kind of an openness, to be able to uncover your past lives. But it's very important, like in psychiatry, we do psychoanalysis, psychotherapy, we want to know the cause of a disease, and always we want to locate it somewhere in time in this lifetime. But the the problem is not in this lifetime; it's in a past life. Once you resolve that, then you are in business. Like in my first book, I talked about Mary, a patient of mine that committed suicide, in past lives, and in this life, she was always in the hospital with a depression, very deep depression, with suicidal trends, and she was attempting to kill herself. So she came with her mother to me, and she was like in 18 years or 19-year-old. And I regressed her, and she found out that she did it before because of coldness in the family, because of strained relationships, not being loved, and always looked for love. So, like in her case, she jumped through a window of a high building and to her death when she was like a very young, 12-year-old or something like that. Very early in her life, she committed suicide. And we matched it with the years and everything, and different methods of proving past life regression scientifically that are not accepted yet in the mainstream, but right now, having children that remember, like I had a child, a 6-year-old girl that is Jewish in this life, and in previous life she was a Mexican, a Catholic. So I was there and I found out the baptismal certificate in Tala, Mexico, with Paula Liborio. She said Paula Liborio, which is an English girl doesn't say Paula, but she said Paula Liborio. So I found that was when I went with my wife there in Tala, Mexico. And in the Museum of Guadalajara, I found everything that she described in the Charo races for horses for women that she practiced in order to make money because she was poor, and then she reincarnated to somebody that was more affluent in order to make sure that she doesn't suffer of poverty. But anyway, things like that, very amazing. I think that God privileged me, and I will never be able to repay in any way to be exposed to all these experiences and to see miracles and miraculous healings like in the Philippines. So I had to write. I wrote because that came naturally. I had to tell the people. And the truth of the matter is that nowadays people believe more, and they invited me at Cedar Sinai, the most prestigious and acknowledged hospital in California, and one of the 7 in the United States, where I'm on the staff and the medical staff, to give in different periods of times, you know, presentations of that sort that I'm only touching on here, but with videos, with a lot of memorabilia and things, and to the medical staff, to the doctors themselves, hundreds of doctors. And most of them were favorable to, open-minded to listen to me and my stories, and they were successful. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invited me 4 times.
That's right. That's so right, and you can find that online. I've seen that there's a I don't know if Des can find that one, but it's there. The video of the recent one that you went to, the recent conference
Yes.
that you went to, and that's the one we're talking about. But it's all online. You can find it easily. You just put in his name. It's there. Another thing I would love for you to share, if we have a little bit more time, which we don't have too much more time, but we can actually do how much ever time we want, right, Des? If we wanted to
Yes.
go longer. But I would love for you to share your story about when you were a child, Adrian, Dr. Adrian, when you were a child and the bombs were coming, and you could tell your spirit, your soul was able to know when those bombs were going to come so people would be prepared. Could you share that story?
Yeah, he could. He
If
certainly
you
it
have
was a
time.
horrifying, horrifying situation. But for some reason, I trusted my mom. She was holding my hands and dragging me to the shelter. Um, eh, and she always said, word of encouragement and of self-control, scorpion control. So but she was so loving, so deeply loving. I feel tears in my eyes when I think about her. And she would drag me to the shelter in a bank, the National Bank of Romania in Bucharest, the capital, where we were hiding from the bombs because they were. I mean, the building was very sturdy, made out of, enforced iron, beton, or something. So I remember the bombs falling, and I would all of a sudden it came to me to count to three, and as I counted to three, I was amazed that the bombing rate stopped. So I thought, oh, well, let me play. I was a kid. I like to play. So I started doing that from time to time. But it's interesting. I wouldn't do it intentionally. I would, I would say, well, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden it comes to me and I do it again and again and again. And then people noticed that and they started laughing at me as if I have magic powers. And I didn't like that. But anyway, but I like to play. So I continue to say that. And after a while, people would come to me and beg that I count to three. And they were around me, and this is. And my mom is telling me these stories, but I was telling me because it's not now in this world. But so people were asking, and I would say, "Well, but it's not ready yet. I cannot count now." Then I would count, and all of a sudden, boom, stop. It would stop or it coincide with stopping the bombing raid. So this kind of experiences. I had many other psychic experiences as a child, but I don't want to take the time, and we don't have it anyway. So that's the story of my life. No respect.
No respect. You are so respected. And you know what? You were giving people faith and hope and positivity even then. You really were. Look at that. I mean, a small child, and in those dire situations of what was happening, you were a sparkle of hope and faith that things were going to be okay, even at that age. I just think that's miraculous. And you know what I would like to see? I would love, and I wish Des and I could figure out how to do this too, but wouldn't it be beautiful to be able to take your stories and just bring them to life? Bring these stories to life somehow. I mean, I just think that would be really visually beautiful and positive and healing. And there was another time. I know we don't have much time, but there was a time when you were saved by the walls, the ceiling coming in to your
Oh
room.
yeah,
You were saved, like you could have been dead right then.
yeah. It was
Some
in 1940. It was the greatest earthquake in Bucharest, Romania, and a lot of buildings collapsed. And among them, my little room, the wall made out of bricks, and it fell into my empty bed because that night I had a premonition, apparently, crying very hard to not to sleep in my bed but with my parents. And I usually slept in my bed, but my parents, especially my mom, was believing me that I should be with them for some reason. She was more psychic than my father, so she took me to the bed. And when they woke up in the morning, they found out that my little bed was full of debris and bricks.
You were saved. You were saved. And you were given that insight to get out, and your family listened to you. And so
Yeah,
this is the perfect opportunity to say to people that if your child has abilities, do not you can nurture those abilities, and it doesn't mean that it's from demonic forces. It's they're gifts from God, really. And I believe that that is the truth. And I love that when I first met Arch or heard about Archbishop Ron, and I was coming to a phase in my life where I was literally kind of scared that my abilities had brought in so much pain to my family because of my abilities and my desire to do use them. And when I was able to, and I was like, oh my God, I need to watch out what I do. And I was really trying to get, to really go a different way. And when I met, Archbishop Ronald Enright, I'm like, wait a minute, what did he just say? He said that he felt they were okay, like God is giving them, so it made me really think, okay, okay, I want to go this path because I can do this if I do this, So I really appreciate you, Archbishop Ron, if you're still listening. And that's about the time I met Desiree, who's very much gifted with all these things. And so the three of us here, I love that we are here sharing. And I know Desiree didn't get to talk too much today, but hopefully next time we'll get some more information with Desiree. And please go up and look at what Desiree is doing on her Facebook and on all her social media, because she's sharing her prophecies right now. And I share stuff with my drawings and onlets, but it's different than what Desiree does. Desiree, uh, it's not about, like, mine is about what the body is doing, or maybe spirits that are interfering with the bodies of people. But Desiree is actually seeing things that are happening in our world that are she's been seeing them and she's sharing them now. And so she's found the strength to do that. God bless you, Des. It is not, it comes a time when we're like, whoa, I guess we do have to stand out there, and whatever people say about us, whatever they want to say, go ahead, you say it. But there comes a time when you have to share what's happening, what you believe, and what you are seeing. And God is with her. God is with Adrian. God is with me, and we do our best to stay in God's light. And that's why I love our team here at A Better You Through Prayer and Fasting.
Something very
I forgot.
interesting. Crescentia huete is calabash. The name of it. It's a fruit. It's a oriental fruit that has a very poisonous, content. But if you give it in small amounts, it's good for pu- pulmonary diseases um, and then I remember that in one of the lifetimes, the psychic of Shirley MacLaine, Kevin Ryerson, through Atun Re, the spirit, the Egyptian spirit, confirmed that I was Joseph Ptolemy, and I was a doctor to Constantine the Great, that brought Christianity to the world. And we were surrounded by a lot of soldiers, as I could see it, Roman soldiers, and the emperor was hurt by an arrow in his cuff, and I pulled it out and I put salt because we didn't have they didn't have antibiotics. But anyway, I admired the emperor that he was so so courageous and things. But I then poured over salt, and it burned like hell, but he didn't move even a muscle. I said, wow, what a brave man. But then I gave him to drink something, a potion from this Crescentia huete I had with me, because he had an attack of asthma. And immediately he started breathing okay. Crescentia huete, when I told the psychic of Sheila MacLaine, and the spirit heard that. Oh, that's fascinating, Adrian. Yeah, you gave him something good, to improve the Crescentia huete. I didn't learn about it as a doctor in this life. I've never heard about it. but I could read on the bottle there, Crescentia, and then I found it in the Encyclopedia Britannica, and it helps with, chest diseases. So, so that these are very interesting things, because I was once the doctor of the most famous king of France, King Louis XIV, and my name was Antoine Daquin. I was for 23 years his doctor, and he had a fistula in his rectum, and he suffered all his left, end of life of that. And I found Dr. Felix, a surgeon, and I elevated all the surgeons from barbers, in quotes, as they call them, and mocked them, all the doctors, to the rank of really being doctors when he helped uh, the king, Roi du Soleil, to get rid of his fistula. So, and I got a commission at that time of, I think, 10,000 livres or something. But anyway, for bringing a good consultant surgeon.
So, I mean, this is all just fascinating, so fascinating, and I love it. So I think we should probably end the show now. And thank you so much for sharing all of this information to everybody. We've got some new people that are on, and I hope that everybody will research you more, and of course join us on Saturday for the Unseen Realm with Archbishop Ronald Violin, right? As we're all there together. Des and I are the co-producers, which is amazing. This week is a special week because I will be on the road heading to California, to San Francisco, with our Beautiful Spirit interactive art exhibit. With us as we travel down the road, one of the pieces, the iris, the hummingbird, is coming to California, and Dr. Adrian and everybody, they're going to be able to see it. Archbishop Ron, we're going to have dinner together on Saturday, but we'll be doing the podcast, and it looks like the podcast, Archbishop Ron and Dr. Adrian will be together in their section, so they'll actually get to do the podcast together live, and maybe me too. It depends on where I'm at, if I'll be doing it from the road, or if I can make it there in time for 3 o'clock to actually step in and be there too. Wouldn't that be amazing? But either way, we'll get to give each other big hugs, and we'll get to see each other. And I wish Des and Dr. Glenn could be there, and our Bishop Joshua, but maybe someday soon we'll all be able to do that too. That would be great. Don't you think, you guys?
Cheer your best memories forever, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's a snapshot in time that we always remember, and that would be one of them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're
Oh yeah,
excited, and we'll be able to
and
share
I.
that the next time, right, Des? I mean,
Oh yeah, I would love to. Dude, that's home for me. I'm from LA.
yeah, yeah.
So like yeah,
And
yeah, it would
and who
definitely be
knows?
fun.
We are with Mario and Cadrosha with the film company Jersey Shores is working on
Yeah, yeah.
a movie, or not a movie, but a series, a television series with the Unseen Realm, or no, with the Order of Exorcists. So and that is, who knows, that's coming along eventually. Then if that happens, we'll surely get to be together for meet together all at once. That would be fun. I know I hear the bells ringing, so we better say goodbye, everybody, and God bless you. Take care.
Thank
Be
you.
sure to do
God
prayer
bless.
and fasting because it's so beneficial. um Read my book. Dr. Adrian's part of it. Des is in the book. I mean, it's look us all up, and we're just trying to be helpful to people and to the animals. So God bless everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great day.